Okay, today we're going to talk about compound interest. First, we're going to start with a quote from Warren Buffett. He's one of the top 3 richest men in America. A man who can't figure out how to make money while he sleeps will never get rich. And that's true. The richest people make money all the time, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, while they're sleeping, while they're eating, because they make money on interest. Okay? They're making money off of investments that they make. And so compound interest is a very powerful thing that can make all of you millionaires by the time you retire. And if you do it correctly, it's not that difficult. Okay, so tip number 3 on how to become a millionaire: establish your credit. Okay, it's a very important step, but it can be very dangerous too. So you got to be careful. When I say establish credit, you need to establish good credit. How do you do that? You get a credit card. A Visa or MasterCard is, probably your best bet because those go everywhere. And when you obtain your credit card, you use it wisely. So how do you get a good credit score? Well, you can charge something small, say $50 every month, and then pay it off immediately at the end of the month. Okay, what you do not want to do is let that balance grow. Okay, you want to pay it off every single month, and that will show that you have the ability to have good credit. Okay, you need to pay it on time, and you need to pay it off every month. This will give you a good credit score, which allows you to borrow money at a cheaper rate. Okay, it will show that you pay your debts when you have them, and here's what happens: is credit cards make money because when you buy something on your credit card, the seller gets charged about 4% of the sale price. That's why a lot of small companies, when you go in and you pay for something on a credit card, they'll charge you a little bit extra. Okay, so you buy something for $100, the seller really only gets $96. The credit card company gets $4. Now that's not a whole lot of money. If you pay it off at the end of the month, there's no interest charged to you. Credit card companies hate this, okay? If you carry a balance over the next month, the credit card company is going to charge you anywhere from 15 to 24% interest. They love that. That's a huge amount of interest that they're making, okay? And once you get to that level, if you get any kind of balance, it's hard to pay it off because the interest increases so fast, okay? So anyway, the credit card companies report to the credit bureaus what your payment history is, and you get a score. You want a credit score in the 800s if you can get it, high 700s at least. If you have good credit and you want to buy a house, you will save thousands of dollars later because you're going to get a better interest rate on your house than somebody who has bad credit. So it could be, if you have good credit, you might get 3.5% on your loan right now, whereas somebody with bad credit might pay 5.5%. That is a huge amount of difference. So I got an example here. Let's say you borrowed $250,000 to buy a house and you got an 800 credit score. Your principal and interest would be about $1,266.71 a month. If you got a 600 credit score, your payment would be about $1,498.88 a month. Over the life of the loan, you're going to save $83,579.73 if you have good credit versus whether you have bad credit. Okay. Now, not only that, if you're smart, you will take this money and you'll invest it and you'll earn interest on it. You could earn maybe 4 or 5% interest on that at this point. Sometimes a little bit higher, sometimes a little bit lower. You could turn that into $271,000 over that time. You never want to carry a balance on a credit card. Okay. Okay, how does compound interest work? So let's compare how interest accrues on $1,000 in principal at a rate of 5% interest with simple interest and compounded interest annually for 5 years. Okay, so here's what happens with simple interest. Okay, if you have $1,000 and you get 5%, that means you're going to get $50 the first year. So the second year, you're you're going to have $1,050. Okay. Now, you're also going to get $50 the third year or the second year, so you'll have $1,100. You'll get $50 the next year. So you'll have that, and then you'll get another $50 the next year. So you end up 1, 2, 3, 4, the fifth year, you'll have $1,250. Okay. Now, what if you compound it annually? Okay, you start out with $1,000. Okay, the first year you get 5%, so you're going to have $1,050, same as you did over here. Now, the next year, you're going to get interest on your interest. So you're going to have $1,050. You're going to get 5% on the whole thing. So now you got $1,102.50. Okay, $2.50 more. Now that doesn't seem like a lot, but what happens is that 5% keeps getting bigger and bigger. Okay, so we'll take that. Again, I get 5% on that whole thing. Now I'm going to have $1,157.63. The next year, I'm going to have $1,215.51. And the next year I'll have $1,276.28. As you can see, now I've got $26.28 more. Okay, now that you can see that it's getting bigger faster than this one, and the longer you go, the more money this is going to have versus this. Okay, that's kind of how compound interest works. Here's your compound interest formula. So it's A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the NT power. You need to know this formula. Okay, A stands for amount. P stands for principal. That's how much money I invest. N stands for the number of times compounded per year. What we're going to find out is the more times you compound it per year, the better it is for you. R is the interest rate. T is the time in years. So let's see how this works. And you should write this formula down every time you do this problem. So Maria, she deposits $1,650 in a savings account that pays 1% interest compounded daily. What's her balance after 3 years? First thing I want to do, write down my compound interest formula. Okay, then the reason I do that is it tells me where to fill in the numbers. So I want to know the balance. That's going to be the amount. So that's my variable. My principal is $1,650. My interest rate is 1%, 0.01. Pretty terrible interest, but compounded daily, that's 365 times a year. 365 also goes right there, and 3 years goes right there. So I get out my handy-dandy TI-84 Plus C Silver Edition graphic calculator, and I can calculate this. Okay, I want to start with this right here. That's the first thing I'm going to do. 0.01 divided by 365, and I'm going to add that to 1. And now I'm going to take that to the 365 times 3 power. So all of this ends up right here, ends up being 1.0304. That's as far as the calculator goes. I'm just going to use my answer key and go times 1,650. And I get the amount of money in my account is going to be $1,700.25. Okay, now that's the amount of money I have in the account. If I want to know the interest, I got to take that and subtract my original principal. So minus 650. So I got $50.25 in interest during that time. Now, if you're investing money at 1%, that's not a very good investment. That's like a savings account someplace at a bank. You can do much better than that. And then that'll grow even faster. You'll have even more money there. Okay, let's look at the next example here. So here's my compound interest formula again. How much does $1,000 earn in 3 months at an interest rate of 2% compounded quarterly? What is the balance after 3 months? Okay, so there's two questions here. How much interest does it get, and what is the balance? I'm going to figure out the balance first. Okay, so again, my formula. Amount is principal times 1 plus the interest rate divided by n to the nt power. Okay, there's my principal. 1,000 plus my interest rate, 2%. Remember, that's 0.02. And it's compounded quarterly. That means 4 times a year. Okay. 4 goes right there. Now it's 3 months. So that's 3 out of 12. You could write 1/4 there if you wanted to. Okay. And then this is going to be A. Now, 0.02 divided by 4 is going to be, oops, it's going to be 0.005. So this is going to be 1,000 times 1.005. And I multiply this together, that's going to be the first power, which really doesn't, still 1.005 times 1,000. So this is going to end up being $1,005. Okay. So did you earn a lot of interest? No, you sure didn't. But you didn't have it in there very long. It was only in there for 3 months. And $1,000 is not a huge amount of money. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not. 2%, not really that great of interest rate either. It's only compounded 4 times a year. So there's a lot of factors going against it here. Okay, it looks like we already did this problem right here. Oh, wait, we didn't answer the other question. How much interest did she get? She got $5 in interest. Okay, we already did this problem, so we're going to skip that. Okay, how to find APY. That's the interest rate you would receive if you'd have been earning simple interest instead of compound interest. So you subtract your ending balance from the principal to find the amount of interest earned, and then you use the formula I equals P times R times T to solve for R, the simple interest rate. Okay, so we'll do that in another problem right here. So Salvador deposits $3,270 for 5 years at 2.9% interest, compounded quarterly. What is his ending balance? Okay, so again, we get out our compound interest formula. We plug in the numbers. So my principal, 3,270. My rate is 0.029. Let's see, it's compounded quarterly, so that's 4. And it's for 5 years. Okay. So 0.029 divided by 4 plus 1. This is 1.00725 to the 20th power. 4 times 5 is 20. So I take this to the 20th power, and I multiply by 3,270. And I get $3,778.27. That's the amount of money that I have to the nearest penny. That's his ending balance. Now, if I wanted to figure out what his APY was, I could do that. I would take this and I would subtract my original amount. So I would take my ending balance. Oops. I would subtract my original amount that I had, figure out how much interest I had. So I've got $508.27 in interest. Okay, then I'm going to get out my simple interest formula. Okay, remember I equals PRT. So my interest is going to go over here, 508.27 equals my principal, which was 3,270, times my rate, which is 0.029, times, oops, nope, we're calculating the rate, sorry. Times my time, which was 5 years, and then we're going to calculate R. There we go. Okay. So 3,270 times 5. This comes out to be 16,350 R equals 508.27. And then I divide both sides by 16,350. And I get R. So 508.27 divided by 16,350 comes out to 0.031, which is 3.1%. That's my APY. That's my annual percentage yield. Okay, so even though I got 2.9%, it was effectively equal to 3.1% because I had compound interest. Jose deposits $8,000 in an account that earns interest at a rate of 2% compounded daily. What is his ending balance after 1 year? I'll give you a second to calculate this on your own. So push pause on the video, calculate this out, and then when you got your answer, start the video up and compare it to what I have up here on the board. Okay? Pause your video now. Okay, so here we go. We're going to come back and we're going to calculate his ending balance. So A equals P times 1 plus R over N to the NT power. So the amount is 8,000 times 1 plus, rate is 0.02, N is 365, and it's only for 1 year. So I get out my calculator. Remember, I do this first. 0.02 divided by 365. I add 1. And I'm going to take that to the 365 power because 365 times 1 is just 365. So I end up with 8,000 times 1.02020781. You don't have to write down all those. Just keep it in your calculator and just do the next step. So I'm just going to take that times 8,000. And I'm going to end up with $8,161.61. So there's my ending balance. So next we're going to calculate the APY. So remember, you're going to subtract the ending balance from the principal. You're going to subtract the principal from the ending balance to find out how much interest was earned. So that's going to be 8,161.61 minus 8,000. It's going to be $161.61 in interest. Now I'm going to get out my simple interest formula. There's my interest. It's going to go right here. My principal was 8,000. I'm actually calculating R. My years was 1. This is actually a pretty easy one. This is just going to be 8,000, so I'm going to divide that by 8,000 right there. So 161.61 divided by 8,000 is 0.0202. So I got 2.02% APY. So I got a little bit more than 2%. And actually this part, I guess. Oops, that was cool. This part goes over here. Okay. So now what you're going to do is you're going to do pages 21 through 23 of your packet. So there's page 21, 22, and 23. And then you'll be done. So I'll see you next week.